Welcome back, everyone. I'm so grateful you are here with me as we are diving into 7 benefits that I see when it comes to podcasting, one at a time. So, today we're going to talk about the third benefit after we already talked about the accountability and consistency piece on day one. And then yesterday we talked about how podcasting can help you become less dependent on social media and especially the ever changing algorithms. And in no way I'm here to try to convince you that you have to do podcasting. But if you have been thinking about podcasting, if this is something that has shown up for you over and over again, then maybe this will really help you understand of how incredibly powerful and magical this can be, especially if you also are serious about having your own online business, and maybe you already have, because it's such an incredible supportive tool. And I think today will also help you understand why. But before, for those of you that are ready to launch their own podcast and you know that you want help and you want to have a super easy breezy experience in a very joyful way, then you are invited to check out the Easy Podcast Launch 2.0 course. I have already run it several times live. It's been such an incredible experience. I love to see people that are getting their voice out into the world. You're going to start to make impact. You change people's life with every episode that you release. That's why I do this. And with that, all the details are in the show notes. Now, let's dive into the third benefit that I see that comes from having your own podcast. This is all about human connections. I think in today's world, especially where we have so much artificial intelligence with AI, it's very easy to get disconnected and only be on screens, right? And we don't even talk to people anymore. And while, of course, also these machines, computers, smartphones, and everything, they help us actually connect with more people at the same time. So, again, there's a little bit of a conundrum. But there is really like a risk that we are just too disconnected from the world, where we're not really interacting with real people anymore. Now, with podcasting, what I have experienced is that, especially being an entrepreneur, it is so important that I build relationships. I think that's what all of life is about, also in your personal life. But you're not ever going to have a business if you're not going to start building relationships, right? I mean, yeah, you can post all you want on social media and try to wait for people to reach out to you, but it's about real human connections, right? Because again, there's so much stuff out there. And podcasting really helps with that because one, when I speak on a podcast, it is always my intention to talk to you like you're a friend or somebody that I know needs to hear this. Like you and I were in a room and I'm sharing from my heart deep wisdom, learning lessons so that your life can be easier. So that some of the lessons I have gone through, you don't have to go through the same way. I'm giving you a shortcut. And often people have come to me, they have booked a reading with me or connected with me on social media. And they were like, yeah, you don't know me yet. And then they tell me, like, I feel like I know you already because I've been listening to your podcast for quite a while. So they already have that connection with me. And that's such a beautiful and fulfilling thing because as I have been sharing these episodes, right? And of course, I'm creating this for this one person, but this goes out to possibly hundreds, thousands, millions of people that can actually listen to this episode. It's just like when I'm recording it, I'm thinking about one specific person, right? And this means that a podcast, as you express yourself in a very natural, authentic way, just like you're talking to a real person, to a friend, somebody you really care about, people already feel like they know you. And of course, that helps them also to trust you more, to relate to you more, to eventually maybe decide that they want to work with you or buy one of your programs or whatever it is that you have to offer. So that's an amazing benefit. The human connection you already built over time with potential clients, the people that you are here to serve. And then you also create a lot of human connections with other entrepreneurs, with other experts in the field. On my podcasting journey, I had so many people, and I still have, that keep reaching out to me because they either would like to be on my podcast or they invite me to be on their podcast. So oftentimes we also do swaps. And there is a little bit of a thing when you're podcasters, right? There's already a connection here. And a lot of very successful entrepreneurs, they have a podcast because they understand that podcasting is this amazing tool to get your message out there, to have your own audience or platform that is not highly dependent on social media and where you can create consistent content and create accountability for yourself. And the amount of people that have been on my podcast, I think, are around 100 by now. So it's quite a bit. And many of these connections have turned into long-term, sustainable, either business connections or real life friendships. And right now, I just have two people that come to my mind that connected with me, one very early on, and we keep checking in with each other every year or several times a year. And also with business, we have referred clients to each other. We have collaborated on a lot of things. And I think I was on her podcast twice already, and she was on my podcast at least once, if not twice. And I also had another podcast guest, which actually was Gay Hendricks, because of a connection with her as well. So you never know, right? What these connections that you create through your podcast can eventually bring about. And then also this year, I was again spending some time in the Pacific Northwest, and I met one of my dear friends there. That again, I met her initially through the podcast. She reached out to me. She was on my podcast actually twice now already. And it was the third time that I got to see her in person. And it was really like a friendship situation at this point. And we have also done several business things together. And for sure, if there's something coming up about the topic that she specializes in, and people ask me about it, I will refer them to her right away because I really know her. You know, there could be some experts online that I have heard about, but if it's a person that I like and trust and I have built a human connection with, I'm so much more likely to think about that person. And that's the same that happens when the people that you have connected with through a podcast episode, right? Because if you talk to a person for 30 minutes or like an hour, that leaves a mark. They have experienced your energy, your unique point of views. And like I specialize in human design. If another person reaches out to a person that I was on their podcast, they're like, oh, I know Annalena, like, let me connect you to her. You know, so you really create this global network where people really know you and can over time connect you also to other people. Now, one thing, of course, don't ever go into this with expectations. This is something that happens naturally and organically as you also generally connect with other podcasters and you start to also reach out to certain people that you feel inclined to be on their podcast. And one thing that I have done as well, not as much as other people have reached out to me, but I have also reached out to some people over time where like, oh wow, I would really like to be on their podcast, or I want to ask them to be on my podcast. And that also has led to some beautiful connections, you know? So again, relationships is everything. And podcasting, in a way, is such a beautiful excuse to connect with people. Because, like I said in the beginning, you are in the podcaster group, you get each other. We like to talk, we like to refer to each other, and it makes business so much more joyful. So, for me, this is such an incredible benefit, these really deep and meaningful relationships that you build over time, again, with your potential clients, and then also with like this network of colleagues where you start to support each other. And I really believe that in today's age, personal connections and collaborations, this is also something I have learned through human design to a very big deal, and the gene keys, that's going to make your business break or really successful. I really believe that, because if you solely rely on posting 100 million times on social media and have all the fancy marketing tools or the funnel or whatever, great. That's probably not a bad thing, but it is through human connections and genuine human connections, right? Not like, oh, I'm going to reach out to this person, so I'm going to get more clients, or then they couldn't connect me with that. It always comes from a, yeah, very heartfelt place where you know that life and business is about connecting people with each other. And it's also like, when you connect to another person, you also want to give to them as much as you receive from the people that are in your network, because you understand that you're never competing with anybody, because one person that comes to you, they may actually have chosen to come to you so that you can trust your intuition and let them know about another person that you met through your podcast. And then that may change their life and lead to a beautiful, fruitful collaboration for them. And that's also how you contribute to the world, right? Through connecting. And the more you trust yourself, your intuition, your inner guidance, you know who, with whom, and when, and if to connect with another person. So, again, I'm obviously very passionate about this, but this is one huge reason for me to, yeah, if you have been thinking about podcasting, damn, it's a really, really good idea. So, with that, spend a little bit of time and think about it, maybe journal on it a little bit of how more meaningful connection could actually enhance your business, the beautiful goals that you have to change people's life. And with that, I'm very excited to be back tomorrow for benefit number 4. Ciao, everyone. Thanks for listening.